What's up everyone, John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with a full review for you of the Palm Pre Plus for AT&T Wireless. This is going to set you back $149 after contract and mail-in rebates. So very similar to phone to what we saw on Verizon with their Pre Plus and of course with Sprint on theirs. So before we get to the full review, let's run over some of the specs to refresh your memory on what the Palm Pre Plus offers. It's of course a quad-band 3G phone. It weighs about 4.89 ounces. Dimension-wise, it's 2.3 inches by 3.9 by 0.67. Of course, it is a full touchscreen. It's a 3.1-inch capacitive touchscreen, the resolution of 320 by 480. It can show about 16.7 million colors. The screen is very bright and really is nice for viewing all kinds of media. Of course, it has a slide-out QWERTY keyboard. There is not an on-screen keyboard option, so you're stuck with a physical QWERTY. We'll talk about that later on in the review. Keeping on with the specs, it is running Palm's proprietary operating system called WebOS. Palm, of course, just bought by HP, so now it's HP's proprietary operating system, WebOS. It's got 16 gigabytes of internal storage, 15 of which are available to you. It does not have a micro SD card, in case you guys were wondering. Battery life is not as strong as I would have liked. Talk time, they claim you get about 5 hours. Standby time, about 350 hours. It's only 1150 milliamp hour battery, and it goes very quickly. Through one day, you're definitely going to have to charge this thing on a daily basis. So things I'm going to talk about are probably reminiscent of other Palm pre-reviews that I've done, as the same lingering issues, both positive and negative, still apply. First, I love WebOS. For multitasking, it is a complete and utter powerhouse. So let me give you an example of how multitasking works here, and you've probably seen this on other demonstrations. So I'll go ahead and open up, say, the phone. Let's say I want to open up the browser as well. So go ahead and tap that home button right there, open up the browser. And it keeps these things open in what's called the deck of cards interface. I can keep open really as many as I'd like, and I can scroll through and launch any one I want. And when I want to close an application, I just swipe it up. This is probably the best implementation of multitasking I've ever seen. I mean, it's really just a very, very, very impressive, easy to use, intuitive, and almost fun operating system. It's just very well done. So the browser I've shown you in multiple videos, it does feature multi-touch, pinch to zoom. The 3.1-inch screen is bright, shows text crisply, and pages render very quickly. So inputting text has always been one of the issues that I've had with the Palm Pre Plus. I like having a physical keyboard. However, the physical keyboard on the Pre Plus is very small and really hard to type on. If you look at it by comparison with its stablemate, say the Palm Pixie, the keyboard is much easier to type on the Pixie, and let me tell you why. On the Pre Plus, you have these ridges on the side. See that on each? So when you try and type, your fingers always end up hitting that ridge, and the keys are very small. I've got pretty normal sized thumbs. If I put it right there, see it covers up, a big percentage of the keyboard. Even my forefinger covers up a big percentage of the keyboard. On something like the Pixie, for example, you don't have that ridge on the side, so your fingers can rest off the end, and it's much easier to hit the keys. They can be a bit more raised as well because it has not to be a sliding mechanism that goes on top of it. So as far as physical keyboards go and text entry, it's going to take a lot to get used to the keyboard here on the Pre Plus. And it would be okay if there was a really fully functional autocorrect built into whether you're word processing or typing an email, whatever you might be doing, but there isn't one. So you find yourself making a lot of mistakes, and navigating back and forth to correct those mistakes can be quite difficult. You have to always be very exact with where you touch, or you have to use the arrows to go back. It's just not the most elegant of typing experience. Definitely something that I was disappointed with the Pre Plus. Let me unlock the phone here, and the unlock screen is actually kind of neat. Slide that up. Oops. The angle was bad. Okay, so that's sort of the keyboard. The cut, copy, and paste functionality is a bit squirrely as well. You have to sort of tap on one side of the screen and drag text. It's just not a very elegant implementation. It doesn't really hold true to how elegant the rest of the operating system is itself. But cut, copy, and paste and no autocorrect are two very killer features that are missing from the phone. So that being said, is this a viable alternative to some of the other smartphones in AT&T's lineup? Most notably, if you're looking at this, you're probably looking at the iPhone as well. And I would say that most definitely the Pre Plus is a fantastic alternative to the iPhone. I actually used this in my primary phone for a few weeks now. I was very happy with it. It features some really cool things. For instance, something called Synergy, which pulls down all of your contacts from the web, or your Facebook, Twitter, sort of all your contacts you have in the cloud into one unified address book, one unified calendar. It makes it a lot easier to manage your friends. So if your friends have Facebook photo, it'll pull down that photo and use it as your caller ID. And if you have a calendar with Gmail and a calendar with your Exchange, it'll pull it all into one, so you don't have to keep checking multiple places to get your information. That's a feature that I really liked about the Pre Plus, and it offers a lot of very cool design features, and it does a decent amount, actually more than I would expect. So if you're looking for a smartphone, this is not a bad way to go. It does have a camera now with video recording on the back. It's got a YouTube resolution. It's got a YouTube player. The camera is 3 megapixel. The video camera is VGA resolution at 30 frames per second. It shoots at MPEG 4. You can see it right on the back. It does have an LED flash. The speaker's quite loud. And all of the Pre Pluses are actually shipping with the inductive charging capable back that'll work with the Palm Touchtone wireless charger. The sliding mechanism has been improved actually from the Verizon version. It's much more crisp. I don't feel like the phone's going to break when I slide it, which is nice. I sort of had some issues with the Verizon one, and certainly the original original Sprint one didn't quite work so well, and I was worried that it was going to break. This seems to have been fixed. The keys are a little bit better to type on than they were in previous iterations, but as I mentioned, they're just not where I'd like them to be. So if you can deal with those limitations, I recommend going to an AT&T store and trying out the Pre Plus. Try out the keyboard. Make sure you can use it. And if it's something that you're okay with and you want the multitasking powerhouse that is the Pre, this is going to be a fantastic option. Certainly you can wait until iPhone OS 4.0 is released later on this summer, and you can get multitasking there as well, although not as elegant implementation as we see here from Palm. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed. I'm John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo, and I will see you in the next video.